Hi, my name is Akeem Siblani. I do business computing with analytics, and I'm currently third year.
Why did you choose your course?
So I chose my course because I wanted to do something a bit more challenging, and I'm someone who believes in like critical thinking, and I think one of the best things about uni, there's a lot of options to kind of make you push yourself and challenge yourself. And I've always been someone interested in computing and business, and especially like with machine learning and analytics. So I was like, let me do this course, let me give myself a challenge. And yeah, that's why I picked that course essentially.
So far in your course, your third year now, what's the hardest part of your course you found?
My hardest part of the course I found is just knowledge of programming software and general knowledge of computing, because it's very easy to kind of understand the theory and concepts of why computers work and why it actually like how things work and why it functions, but the practical aspect is what makes it so challenging, because it's like you understand the blueprint, but how can you actually like use it as a manual and like actually turn these theories into functions essentially. So just because like you kind of understand how the programming language works, it's very hard to actually sometimes visualize that sometimes. That's why I think it's the hardest thing about my course.
And if you were a student in sixth form and you were talking back to yourself 3 years ago, what's something you would have said to either learn or do before coming to study your course?
There's a couple of things, so I may yap for a bit. First thing is, do some more research in your course. I only saw business, the computing, and there's a bit of machine learning and maths, so I thought I would lean more into like the business side. Because with my course, it was a lot of programming in it, because it does say business computing, but there's a lot more programming and that kind of computer science knowledge you do need to know. So at the very bare minimum, I wish I said to myself, research some more to your course, to literally spend 1 day, 2 days of summer, like just sitting down, research your course, just see some information and kind of like do a bit more background checks into what your course actually entails. And yeah, that's literally what I would do. The other thing is, I think I'll probably do more prep. Actually do a bit more projects involving computing and analytics wise before going into this. Even if it's like a 1 day thing, because like I wish I told myself, you have all summer holiday, just lock in for like a day or two and actually learn your stuff. But yeah.
Okay, and can you remind us of what university you're studying at?
I'm studying at Bournemouth University.
Why did you choose Bournemouth University? Was Bournemouth your first choice?
So the reason I chose Bournemouth is actually my best friend came down here, and we're actually going to go to like the same uni. Well, he's going to go to the chiropractic uni, and I was going to go to this uni. But last minute, he changed his mind, and I changed my mind not to go uni. But I had like a sit-down conversation with my mum, and my mum was like, look, obviously I love my mum in it, but it's kind of like a funny conversation where she was like, look, I love you, Akeem, but low-key, you kind of have to go uni or you're living there. So I was like, okay, I guess we're going to go Bournemouth then, because I like the beach, I like the vibes. So yeah, that's how I ended up at uni, basically. It wasn't like my intentional goal, but I'm here now, and I'm quite enjoying it. So yeah.
So you've been here for 3 years. What's been the best parts about living in Bournemouth?
The best parts about me living in Bournemouth is weird, because I do kind of like the uni lifestyle, but it's not the best. I honestly don't really enjoy it too much. Like I like it, but it's not my favorite thing. However, I quite enjoy Bournemouth in the summer, because I actually work in Sandbanks and I live down there. I got a job and they like let me stay in the place where I work, and just kind of living in Bournemouth in the summer, it's such a completely different vibe, because you have so many tourists come in, the beaches are so nice, and where I literally live right next to the beach. So it's like a lot more freedom, and it's like less restraint. I can actually explore things, not worry about my uni work, it's for that. And I was going to live by myself too at the same time. So I get like essentially that living by yourself at uni, but also kind of have my like freedom of having a job in my own place, stuff like that. So yeah.
If we go back into the Bournemouth University, what's the vibe like on campus? For students that are looking to come to study at Bournemouth and don't know if it's for them, what would you describe being on campus, being a student, living in the general area, being a Bournemouth University student? What is that like? So
being a Bournemouth University student, I would say it's very subjective. I can't really, I'll talk about my own personal experience here. For me personally, it's fun. It's very interesting, because like, it's one of them unis where like it's a mix of so many different people, because Bournemouth is quite a diverse place. So like there's so many different places you can fit in. Like just because you don't fit into one society or one kind of group, if you kind of socialize with other people, you can always meet people you can kind of get along with. And like kind of vibe of this campus is very like very chill, very low key. Like it isn't too chaotic, it isn't kind of like too prestigious at like some of the universities, but it feels like it's a nice balance. It feels like futuristic in a way. Like it feels like what I feel like a normal modern day like university. I feel like. So yeah.
And when it comes to your course and your support, do you feel like Bournemouth University supports your course very well, or is it something you feel like is more independent?
It's a mixture of both. I think if you look out for the support, you need support, they will very much go out their way to help you. There's been times where I needed help with my courses and support, and they are very on it. But it's one of the things. It's one of the saying. Literally, the saying is, "Dogs that don't bark don't get fed." So if you don't go out for that support, it can be kind of hard to, get that help you need. So, but when they do actually help you, they're very supportive. They're very lenient. They do assist you a lot. So I would say the uni is very excellent for that.
And if we go now into more of the Bournemouth area, would you say you said it's fun being a Bournemouth University student.
Yeah.
Is the area captivated in that fun, or would you say it's Bournemouth University, the actual campus is fun and the town is a bit more mid, or would you say the whole thing, the whole experience is fun?
Well, I think the whole experience is fun, well, for me, at the very least, because it's like the mixture of, well, for me, what I like is the mixture of my uni life and then my life as a Bournemouth, person, town. So one of the things that I like the most about this is the uni lifestyle is very fast paced, intense. You're going out every single day, or you're playing, you join your society, you're doing sports, or you're revising. It's always a kind of sort of pressure to kind of be doing something. So it's very hard to be lazy all the time. Whereas when it's the Bournemouth town life, it's kind of nice to kind of just fit into somewhere else new, and somewhere where no one knows who you are, and somewhere where it's oh, this is a nice coastal town where there's a lot to do, from nightlife to actually just nature things. There's so much you can do in Bournemouth.
So, as you said, Bournemouth is a cosy town. It's got a lot of nightlife things to do. Bournemouth's described as having one of the best beaches. Is this something you can back, or?
Man, literally, as someone who works on one of the best beaches, it's amazing. I work as a chef over summer, literally on Sandbanks Beach. So I'll be on the terrace bar, serving pizza, serving fresh food, serving sandwiches, right on the beach, and working in that kind of environment, everyone's in a good mood. It's such a lovely place, especially because there's so many different beaches, and then all the beaches are just nice in general. But it's each beach kind of has a different vibe and aesthetic to it. So from going all the way to Swanage side, to all the way to I think Branksome area. Each beach is nice, but it feels different. Some beaches feel more like a party beach, some beaches feel more of a family kind of style beach. So it really depends, and that's what I kind of like. It's a little mix. So yeah.
And when we go more into the Bournemouth area, you talk about the nightlife.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit more what the nightlife is for Bournemouth University? Could you tell us what the nightlife for a Bournemouth University student is like?
It's interesting. I can't lie. It's very can be very chaotic. It's how do I say it? It depends on where you go, what society you're part of, and who you're friends with. Do you like going out a lot? Do you like do you like drinking? Do you like kind of lifestyle? And I can't lie, if you're someone likes going out, Bournemouth can be a lot of fun because you have a lot of places. You have Barbara's, Pop World, Cameo, Barso, and there's a lot of different clubs that fit a kind of different aesthetic. So there's something you can always do every single week. So Barso is kind of more of that African, Caribbean, Portuguese kind of vibe. So you have that kind of nightlife to go to. But also Barbara's, which is kind of a mix of a bar and a nightclub. But you also have your Cameo and your Pop World, or kind of your silly nightclub. So you don't have to take it too seriously. Everyone's there for a laugh and for a joke, you know what I mean? So it's a nice little mix. Also, Old Fire Station, probably the main club for students. That on a Friday night, literally is brain rot. So you literally go in there and you can just turn your brain off and just go with the flow. And that's why arguably that's probably one of the best clubs in Bournemouth, because you go in there, man, you're just here for a vibe. No one takes it seriously. No one's in each other's faces. No one's fighting. It's such a chill vibe.
And you said such amazing things about Bournemouth, the nightlife, the area, the beach, especially being a chef. Are there any negatives of being in the Bournemouth area?
First thing is, you're just on the south coast. This place is a bit isolated, so it's very hard to get in and out of sometimes. If you want to get anywhere up north, you've got to go London. Then London up, or you have to go Birmingham. It's just always a headache. Second thing is, since it's such a small town, with the amount of people living here, it is a bit traffic-wise, and just living sometimes dies can be annoying transport-wise, stuff like that. What I find a big issue is, especially if you want to travel around certain areas, you kind of need a car basically. The buses are reliable, but not in winter. They're only a summer thing, and for a lot of students, we're only here for September to June time, so it's a bit annoying in that. Another thing is, sometimes I feel this is everywhere in the UK, but I don't feel Bournemouth is quite bad for it. Just the nightlife some areas can be a bit sketchy, a bit dodgy, so you just got to be careful where you're going. Don't really travel alone. if you're drunk, make sure you get home with someone else. You know what I mean? Don't basically common sense. You know, if you see someone look sketchy, don't go there. But yeah, other than that, sometimes a bit like a drug problem here and there. You can see in town centre. But other than that, it's actually quite chill.
And can you tell us any Bournemouth University negatives? You spoke about how Bournemouth University can be supportive. You said the dog analogy of if you want the help, you can get it. If you don't say anything, you won't get it. You said they support your course. Maybe just a bit more clarification of exactly what you do for your course. But anything negative you could say, if you come to Bournemouth University, you may face this as a student, being a Bournemouth University specific student.
Okay, for me personally, even though I did say it's quite easy to fit in and stuff like that, sometimes it's very hard to find your footing sometimes. And when that kind of happens, I don't really think the university is the best at supporting you in that aspect because, like, my issue is I was like in a first year of comm, got along with my housemates, but I didn't really connect with them properly. And as a result, since I was living in Corfe House and Poole, I never really I joined a society, but the proper connections weren't really formed. I wasn't living with people, and when I wanted to go see these people, it was a headache because I traveled 40 minutes away. So to any university student going to Bournemouth, I think a negative will be you kind of have to make sure you're on top of it when it comes to socializing and meeting people, because if you're not on top of it, you will be lonely. I kind of gave up a bit first year, and I ended up being having no friends, not seeing anyone for 2-3 months, and it just a waste of time. And I just think because that's just how Bournemouth kind of is, especially if you miss the freshest period with socialising and meeting people. That's what I did because I was busy. I kind of wasn't feeling it because every time I wanted to go out, it was a trek. But yeah. So
you spoke about Corfe House, which is a Bournemouth University accommodation.
Yeah. Could
you tell us where you lived in your first year?
So yeah, I lived in first year Corfe House in Poole.
And what was that like?
The accommodation itself actually isn't bad. The accommodation, living quality-wise, is decent, other than a couple of floods and a bit of leaking issues and stuff like that. Our kitchen flooded once. Oh my gosh, it's hell. But it's just going from Poole to Bournemouth was such an annoying journey because I've had to stay at people's house after nights out, or get a taxi or Uber home, which is expensive, and just getting to uni in general, when it comes to lectures wise and stuff like that, was so annoying. Oh, this is kind of another negative actually. If you're not on Lansdowne campus, which is in town centre, you have to you have to commute basically to uni every single day, which can be very deterrent because even if you live in Winton, which is near uni, it's such a trek. But back into the Corfe House thing, living in Corfe House actually was decent living standard, but it's just trekking back there and forth. When you have a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. finish, and you have to stay at uni, you can't even go back home to relax for a bit, it does really much demotivate you to go.
I was going to say, so for the students who don't know about Bournemouth and the South East, could you tell us what is Poole, what is Bournemouth, what is the difference? Is it towns, is it cities? What is the difference? What is the travelling? Is the travelling long? Could you tell us that experience?
Yeah, so in the county of Dorset, this is where we are, Bournemouth. You have Bournemouth, which is the main bit of Dorset. You have a little place around it. It's another big place because it's well, most people down here have lived in Poole or Dorset, Poole or Bournemouth, sorry. Poole's another town. It's a bit grimy, it's a bit rough, I can't lie. But it gets the job done. The issue is, getting to Bournemouth not necessarily hard, but sometimes it just is time consuming because there's the U2, which you can get from Poole to Bournemouth and back, but that's 20 minutes to 30 minutes on the bus. If traffic's good, if traffic's bad, you're gonna sit an hour. But that only happens frequently when it's uni time. But after I think 5 p.m, 6 p.m, it's only 1 per hour. But then you get the 17 or the 16, something like that, which they're reliable, but they all take a minimum hour. So it's just getting that isn't actually that hard. It's just very time consuming because it's just you can't just wake up, shower, brush your teeth, get clothes on, go to uni. You have to wake up, shower, brush your teeth, make sure you do this all the time, get your bus in time, commute every single day, which is very demotivating. And
you spoke about the buses. You mentioned the U2. Is this something that comes free as a student, or do you have to pay for the buses?
That's also a big factor I forgot to mention. If it was free, I think most people wouldn't mind, but it's the fact you have to pay. And yes, you can get the bus pass, but the bus pass is I think £300 for the year, but you get the student discount one, which is a bit cheaper. I can't remember how much it was, but the bus is expensive off the bat because you got to pay for obviously your deposit, living expenses first time at uni, and if you're like me whose maintenance loan got messed up, you're not coming to uni maybe with enough money, so you got hit by your affiliation for your society, living expenditures, deposit, rent. Then bus pass, you don't really have enough. So then you end up not getting a bus pass. As a result, you're paying buses every single day to get to uni. And there is solutions of getting a week bus pass for that, but that's just a bit of a headache if you want to do it every single week. It just costs a lot of money, basically, transports-wise. But yeah.
So you went through this trials and tribulations as a student. You went through those trials and tribulations as a student, but I'm guessing by your second year, you changed it up, or did you stay in Corfe House?
No, we changed it up. We lived in Winton. But Winton's weird, because, like, Winton's, like, now, like, I call, like, the student town of Bournemouth, because, like, this is where all the students live. The only issue where I live in Winton, I live on the complete opposite side. So it was, like, a 30-minute walk to uni. So it was still good, though, because it was a bit closer, a bit easy to get to, because you always can get the bus, which makes it a 5-minute journey instead of, like, a 30-minute, 40-minute, 5-minute journey. But it was more so, like, Winton's a bit rough sometimes in the night, but you know, you got this place called Buffalo Bar, which is pretty good when students go there, and it's a bit of a nice mixture because you're closer to town, to Bournemouth town. You can just get the bus, it's like 10-20 minutes, or you can get the bus to uni, which is 10 minutes. So like, you're pretty much chilling when you live in Winton, yeah.
And what was that transition like, going from student accommodation, like a flat-ish with 5 people, to now moving into a house with 7 people?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Very interesting, because I lived with all girls too, other than one dude. So we all got along quite well. There was like arguments and like kind of chaos here and there, because obviously you're living with 7 people, and you're not meant to get along all the time. But like, it just gets cramped, and sometimes it's like, you don't always feel like you have your own space, whereas you're a student at Accom, like, you have the kitchen, not everyone's always in the kitchen, but when you're living in the house, some people in the living room, some people in the kitchen, some people are downstairs, some people in the bathroom, this and that. So it's like, you have to get used to living with people and kind of moving around their kind of different schedules and times, essentially. But yeah.
And what would you say the biggest difficulty you face living with 7 people? Aside from the arguments, aside from disagreements, as a student who's probably looking to move into a house, what do you think they will probably face?
I'll be honest with this question. Just because you get along when you don't live with each other, as soon as you live with people, the dynamics do very change, and it's very, very like, you have to be very comfortable not having your own time and not having your free time, because you have to realize you can't be selfish anymore. Your actions and what you do will affect other people's days, and vice versa. So someone can have a bad day, and they can so easily take that bad day out on you. You just gotta like learn how to not take it personally, and vice versa. So I think that's one of the most challenging things about being a student, like living in a house. It's not trying to like make it toxic in a way, but yeah.
And then you spoke about how you've lived in Corfe House in your first year.
Yeah.
You then moved to Winton, unfortunately on the other side of Winton in your second year. And now your third year. Are we still in a house, or have you moved back to accommodation?
Now in a house, and we live on the side closer to uni, which is so much better, because I can wake up, you know, get my stuff ready, 5-minute walk. It's about a 10-minute walk to uni, which is so much better, so much chiller. And like, as a result, it's not like much of a headache going to uni back and forth. Like today, I've been back to my house like I think 6 times, because I forgot like my gear and stuff like that, so I kept going back and forth. But with that, it's way more like manageable. So yeah.
Being a student at Bournemouth University, you spoke about the downsides, the upsides. You spoke about being a chef. You've spoken about, well, we'll get onto about the content creation, and you've spoken about your course. How have you managed your time, energy, and just generally being a student with all these things going on concurrently?
Yeah, I want to plan. So for me, like, I don't know if it works with you or other people. I have like a mental plan, so I have a rough idea of what schedule I'm going to follow each week, which I always just sit down, brainstorm. I usually write a to-do list every single day. So I have a rough list of what I want to do throughout the week. Then I have a to-do list to do what I'm going to do throughout each day of this week, and I just try to get as much of that done each day, essentially. And the biggest thing I realized is that realistically, you're going to fail. You're not going to always be consistent 100% of the time, and you have to acknowledge that. Just don't beat yourself out of that. As long as you're going to at least lock in and get stuff done a decent amount of time before deadlines are due, that's what I always like to do. Like, I'm not going to say, like, oh, I have this crazy schedule, this and that. I usually just make sure, cramp my work in a couple of weeks before it's due in and get out the way, so I have a bit more time to manage my like job or content creation or uni work. So, like example, I'm working on a video soon for my YouTube video. So what I'm gonna do this week is just cram that in, get the script done, and get all the shot list done. So when it comes to the weekend, and actually Wednesday, I can just get this done, film, edited, all done by this week, and then lets me focus on my uni work and other things throughout the next couple of weeks. And this is all done before I do lines and deadlines for my like work and stuff like that. So yeah.
So you chose to come to university over doing an apprenticeship, or going right into work. Why did? Oh, we spoke about this. Your mum, actually going to the. I'm going to rephrase my question. Now that you've come to university, do you think you as a person has grown, or has it benefited you in a way you've seen maybe your peers or friends who haven't gone to uni is different experience?
Yeah, I can't like, 'cause my experience is very weird because like, I'm just gonna get like, I want to be honest with answer questions. I haven't had like the best family experience growing up. I was going through a lot of family issues whilst at uni. So it did force me to like mature faster. Like, it made sure I had to manage my money properly. It made sure I had to like do my finances properly, but also make sure there's enough money on the side to help back with home. And also like finding a job. It made me mature in a way, realize like, yes, you can like, it's a weird thing, I realize like you do have time, a lot more time than you think, but you can't be lazy and lay around because like, you don't, like, lucky situations don't happen for a reason. You put yourself in these lucky situations. And luckily I've got a bit of luck now, like I make a bit more money. I've kind of out of it, this kind of like bad end of my life I was going through. All because like I kept moving. So in a way, university taught me how to keep pushing when you feel like you're by yourself, when you feel like there's no one else there to support you, when you're kind of alone. Like university helped me realize that as long as you keep fighting, like, you can make it like to third year. You can actually make it to your apprenticeship, whatever you want to do. But yeah.
And just carrying on that conversation, if you were to come to yourself in first year and you were an individual who maybe, like you said, you were maybe a bit lonely, maybe you were not finding yourself yet, you weren't in your space, you were still learning about who you are, not just in Bournemouth, but as a person, what piece of advice would you give that person who's going through that struggle now?
I'll say the biggest thing is you gotta have a sit-down conversation with yourself and be like, honest to yourself. Be truly authentic to who you want to be and stop putting on like kind of a character or trying to like be someone who you're not. And then say that stuff, but actually practice what you preach. Because I feel like what I was to be like first year, I used to say all this stuff about being authentic and like trying to be who I am, this and that, but I was too scared to be that. So as a result, I wasn't doing what I want to do. For example, what I wanted to do was be the videographer. I wanted to be an editor. I wanted to create content. I wanted to tell these stories about like, my life and what I've been through. But I wasn't really following that path, and as a result, I wasn't happy basically with that what I was doing, and I was doing a lot of things to distract myself from like what I was going through. So my biggest thing is to people going to uni is just try to be yourself, but actually practice being yourself. So yeah.
And you kind of just going back to your course, university, I just wanted to go back on it. You spoke about how you looked into societies, but it was a lot of money due to the financial situation you're in. Did you manage to join a
society? Because it's like, look, I was able to afford it because the first 2 years I got my max maintenance loan, but this year they just messed up my maintenance loan, so I'm trying to get it sorted. But you still can join societies without paying the affiliation. It just that means I'm pretty sure it's a bit wishy-washy where you can actually play games or not. But even then, a lot of societies don't charge you much. It was just more so like one of the things with like paying these like affiliation to society is another fee on top of what you have to pay on already at university. Because like your living expenditures and just going out expenditures is just already so high. But that's like why one of the things about these societies is like, I think the university should help out a bit more with students and their affiliation. And also, when you actually pay these money to get these affiliations, there should be way more benefits, I feel like. But yeah.
Okay, so if we now go into you as a content creator, and more specifically a student content creator, more specifically a student content creator, I can't speak today. Can you tell us more about what you do as a student content creator?
Well, I can't lie, I'm a bit lazy off the bat. So what I do is video editing. So I create cinematic stories and tell stories about my experience at uni and what I've been through for life, all my kind of side quests to go through. And then I also do street interviews as like a way to incorporate into my stories. So it's kind of annoying because a lot of people don't see like the full videos where I incorporate the street interviews and interactions I have with people into my videos. Because one of the things that I do in my videos and my content creation is to try not only tell my perspective, but show other people's perspectives of like what I've been through and what they've been through at the same time. And also, what I like to do is the interviews are a bit fun. Like you get to hear about students' like lives and what they've been through and their crazy stories and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I basically do as a video, as a content creator, as a student. But yeah.
And what motivated you to start?
For the longest time, I didn't really know. But there was something, a spark on me who wanted to do something like this. I want to do something exciting. I want to do something like a challenge, which takes a lot of thinking, a lot of problem solving. And it was a sit-down conversation, well, like a online conversation with me and my two boys, and we all wanted to pursue some sort of kind of business aspect. So one of my friends wanted to pursue a clothing brand, and one of my friends wanted to pursue streaming, and I said I'm going to pursue content because I already video edit before. I've been editing on and off for the past 5 years, but I was never that good at it. So I was like, guys, you know what? I'm going to start a YouTube channel, I make content in uni, I'm going to do it. And ever since then, I've just been making content, trying to make posts every single day, learn how to tell better stories, improving my writing, improving my video editing skills, from like, effects to color grading to storytelling. That's what I've basically been doing ever since. And it was like that idea of like, I kind of want to push myself in a different aspect, in a completely different like direction. from my course. Since I already was making videos, I want to elevate that skill of making videos. I wanted to get better. I just want to be able to be like, tell these crazy stories about my life, but like a unique way.
And since creating content and talking to students, what is the biggest things you've learned, not only by yourself, but being a student?
Being a student, it's like being kind of sort of dream, I think. And also the time, it kind of sells you like this little 3-year pass of your life where you can kind of like just mess around and just do what you kind of want without any real repercussions, because like you can go out, drink every single day and still end up in a good grade at uni. Like, I think it sells you that idea that this is what life's actually going to be, this is what your adulthood life is meant to be, which like it's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes I think being a student kind of like babies you in a way.
And since you're in your final year, I'm assuming, and you're going to finish your course, what are your biggest fears about, as you said, because you said university kind of sells you this kind of image of what life is like. So what is your fear now that you're about to graduate from university and go into what we call the bigger wide world? Yeah,
my fear is basically, because I do a lot of content, I put a lot of my vulnerable self out. My fear of being a student is that, you know, with all this years of like working as a student, this time, the money I spent, like my degree and editing, all this, will this actually work out, succeed? Or is it just going to be all for nothing? I'm going to like end up like wasting my time, not being able to get a job and this and that, and basically kind of like messing myself over and like messing up my future essentially, and like doing such a hard degree for what, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, I think that's my biggest fear as a student. Like, is this degree actually going to help me get a job? Am I going to end up in a job I don't like, or am I going to end up in a job like, you know what I mean? I don't want to do something I hate in the future, essentially.
So going on from that, as someone who is a third year who hasn't graduated yet, do you think university is worth it in 2025?
See, like, this is why like, I kind of like have two ideas in my life. Do you look at it from an emotional standpoint or a logical standpoint? And from an emotional standpoint and a growth standpoint, I do think university is worth it. If you're somewhat curious about feeling to go to university, or you're like, oh, I'm not too sure about university, but I wouldn't mind going, I will kind of advise you to go. But if you have like from a logical standpoint, this is what I look at. If you don't feel like you want to go uni, and like, I'll look at it completely logically. If you feel like you shouldn't go uni, don't go. Don't worry about how you feel, this and that. Like, look at it from logically, because it is very time-consuming. It's so much money. It can be very hard. It can be very lonely. And logically, if I was to tell someone like this, financially wise, in 2025, don't go uni. But emotionally, I would be like, it is good character development. It does help you grow so much. But yeah. And
so now we're going to have what we call the fire questions.
Yeah.
So quick. Yes, no, quick answers. What is the best bar in Bournemouth?
Buffalo Bar.
Best nightclub in Bournemouth?
Barbaras.
One way to describe Bournemouth?
Confusing.
What's your biggest Bournemouth ick?
Societies.
Ooh. Bournemouth red flags?
Cheerleaders.
Dream collaboration with your content? To be continued.
To be continued, yeah.
What is the best Bournemouth accommodation, student accommodation-wise?
Bailey Point.
If your uni life was a movie, what would the title be?
The Steppers.
And last but not least, you have told us about your content creation, being a Bournemouth student, living in the Bournemouth area, being a chef, your ups, your downs. If you were talking to yourself in sixth form and you were giving yourself a piece of advice, I know we've talked about if you don't, from an emotional standpoint, if you want to go, go. From a logical standpoint, if you don't really want to go, you probably don't want to go. But say if there was a student sitting there and they didn't know whether they wanted to go, whether it's Bournemouth, not Bournemouth, uni, not uni, and they didn't know what path, because obviously it's a big decision at A-level, what would you tell yourself who doesn't know what they want to do and potentially looking at university?
I'll say follow your gut instinct. Like, whatever your gut's telling you, just follow that. If not, at the end of the day, it is life. Yeah, if you're going to regret it, you're going to regret it. You're not the one who defines your own experiences, and you're the one who defines your outcome of how you feel about what you go through in life. And if I were to tell myself this at sixth form, I would say, like, whatever choice you make, just follow through with it, commit to it, just don't regret it. Like, you need the experience anyways. Like, you're going to learn from it. So why are you so scared about experiencing it in the first place?